Hey LeGrand Alive, welcome to your weekly Newsish Roundup. I'm Will Bowman and
I voted.
And we are the Tie Guys bringing you the news every week. Alex, what's in the news today?
Ballot Measure 3196. Will it stand? We asked that question. USO Dance 2018. And finally, Around the Mountain.
Only on your weekly Newsish Roundup, brought to you by these, our sponsors.
Next week, the result of Ballot Measure 3196 will be decided by popular vote. Ballot Measure 3196, better known as the Second Amendment Preservation Ordinance, is an initiative on our ballots that would allow the sheriff to make judgment calls on the constitutionality of gun laws he is asked to enforce. The ordinance also threatens organizations that do enforce gun laws, seen as contradicting the Second Amendment, as it was originally understood, with fines of up to $4,000. Several weeks ago, we talked to Mr. Ken Wisdom, one of the organizers of the ordinance, about why it's important.
The populace on the east side of the state is minute compared to the populace on the west side. And so we here don't have the voting power, I guess that you could say, that the west side does. And we live by a different way of life, I guess. You know, we don't have the amenities and everything that they do in those populated areas. And so I feel it's really important for us to preserve our rights here because we use them every day. Out here hunting, it's a livelihood to a lot. And so if you take that right away, you're taking that livelihood away from them also.
But can a sheriff make a judgment about the constitutionality of a gun law? Is he really equipped to make that kind of an interpretation? And even if he is, can a local sheriff's interpretation override state and federal laws? Well, we asked local lawyer Bruce Anderson what he thought, and he said he's skeptical.
Should Union County expand constitutional definition of firearms and prohibit enforcement of laws that regulate their manufacture, sale, and possession? Well, that's kind of a two-part question. I'm not aware of any legal basis for a county expanding or contracting the constitutional definitions of anything. Constitutional definitions are typically not left to the county sheriff, or even the county commissioners, or even the county attorney, or even the district attorney for the county. So there's just a number of structural mechanics difficulties with the thrust of this, trying to, I think, ask the voters to approve something that may not be possible to achieve. So the idea that a local government, a county government, could somehow empower and require a county sheriff with no legal training and without really the authority to be a judge of anything, to somehow put that burden on Boyd Rasmussen or anyone like him in any of the other counties. I think it's maybe a well-intended idea that we want to stand for the Second Amendment right to bear arms, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that concept, but I think this ordinance is fundamentally flawed.
Now, Bruce cited what's called the Supremacy Clause in the United States Constitution. The Supremacy Clause says that essentially a state ballot can't contradict a federal ballot and a municipal law can't contradict a state one. It's a hierarchy, he said, and for this reason, he's skeptical of the bill's ability to stand up in court.
Ideas about an informed citizenry, to just check a box yes or no, or flip a coin sounds good or doesn't sound quite right. I think there's way too little information about this question on our ballot for people in an informed and reasoned sort of way to say sure or even absolutely not. Can you imagine? This is guaranteed to create litigation, and the cost of the county defending litigation by people who feel like this ordinance just doesn't fit the pattern of how laws are enacted and interpreted. We have in our Oregon statute, in the very chapter that this initiative petition was filed, a reference to the courts will be the ones that have to interpret this to see whether it does or doesn't pass muster, constitutionally speaking. And I would say that this is a guaranteed lawsuit waiting to happen.
Now, not wanting to stop there, I posed Bruce's questions to attorney Wayne Hicks of Josephine County. Josephine County passed a similar preservation ordinance to Union County's iteration that's currently up to vote. And Hicks was involved in the writing of that piece of litigation. And he said he believes that the bill can stand up to both of these objections. Hicks said that the bill doesn't try to regulate gun laws. Instead, it regulates a county budget. Essentially, it says that a county won't fund organizations that try to enforce unconstitutional gun laws. Laws aren't the county's jurisdiction, but its budget is, he said. And as for the sheriff's ability to interpret the Constitution, Hicks cited a court case in 1996 called Plintz versus the United States. In Plintz versus the United States, the Supreme Court ruled that the US government couldn't enlist local sheriffs to enforce a mandatory gun registration requirement that was set down by the Brady Act. This sets precedence, Hicks said, that the sheriff, or chief law enforcement officer, can stand up in certain situations to federal requirements for enforcing gun laws.
A couple of other things to note about the measure. According to Hicks, in the Josephine County iteration of the measure, it listed out specific infractions that were considered unconstitutional and could be subject to fines. That's specific gun rights that are, in the view of the county, unconstitutional. Those specifics were stripped out in the crafting of subsequent measures, according to Rob Taylor, a proponent of a similar measure in Coos County.
When I wonder about state initiatives, I rely on my voter's pamphlet to tell me that this is the measure. There's a summary, then there's actually the text of the proposed constitutional amendment or statutory amendment, and then all of the pros and cons, people in favor of and opposed to. You don't really get any context or any explanatory information, including the text of the actual ordinance that we're asked to approve or discourage with our vote.
If you want to learn more about the bill, you can find it in its entirety posted to La Grande Alive's Facebook page. This story was brought to you by the USO Dance hosted by the La Grande High School Band is back for another year. Like last year, it's going to be held at Valley Fellowship. Here's a little video that La Grande Alive produced with the pictures and video from last year's event. And just so you know, La Grande Alive, that coupon applies to the Newsish Roundup too.
Now, we had several of the students that play in the La Grande High School Band into the studio this week to talk about why are they so excited to be, well, in the band.
I love the discovery of music. Like my freshman year, I wouldn't have known any of Benny Goodman, Miles Davis, nobody in the jazz scene, and now I can just whip their names out and I mean, I love playing the music and I've had the same people in the band going up with me through the 4 years, and it's been fun to watch them grow too. I think jazz and big band is something wildly out of the norm these days. Like people hear jazz and they go, jazz. And so it's like, when done correctly, it should broaden whoever listens to it. It should broaden their view of music. Because music isn't just what's playing on the radio and what you hear day to day. It's this language that everybody can kind of listen to and speak if you try. The atmosphere is just pure energy in the room. The band feeds off of the crowd and the crowd feeds off the band, and it's just this symbiotic relationship between the two that's just so fun to play for.
The USO Dance is Saturday, November 10th, 2018 from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Like we said earlier, it's hosted at Valley Fellowship. Cost is $10 for adults, $7 for students or people aged 55 and over, and $20 for a family. Entry is free with a military ID.
This story was brought to you by
Here's your EOU sports and Around the Mountain.
Hello, welcome to our Halloween edition of Around the Mountain. This week we're joined by two EOU athletes who are celebrating their senior days this weekend in volleyball's Holly Mullins and football's Skylar Williams. But we'll be taking them out of the studio to the haunted house at the Meridell Center in LeGrand. First, we have a lot to cover for all of our fall and winter sports.
Women's soccer clinched a share of its second straight CCC championship, finishing tied with Carroll with 29 points and a 9-1-2 record. Due to tiebreakers, EOU earned the conference's automatic qualifier to nationals and will be the #1 seed in the CCC tournament. They face 8 seed Corbin on November 7 at 11 a.m. in Springfield, Oregon.
Men's soccer made history for the program, clinching its first berth in the CCC championships. The men finished the season with 5 straight wins, including a 2-1 upset of number 10 Corbin on homecoming. The Mounties are going to be the #4 seed in the tournament and get to host Providence on Wednesday, November 7th at 8 p.m., which will be in Springfield, Oregon.
Volleyball continues to roll, running their win streak to 6 matches with victories over Corbin and Northwest Christian. With 2 more regular season games, the Mounties can clinch at least a share of the CCC title by winning their final 2 matches. They visit Walla Walla on Thursday and host the College of Idaho this Friday at 7 p.m. for senior night. Fans are also encouraged to wear white shirts to the game.
Football had its 4-game winning streak snapped in a 48-24 loss to the College of Idaho. Brennan Kelly, however, was named Frontier Offensive Player of the Week after breaking his own single-game receiving record with 281 yards. He also broke the single-season and career records at EOU for receiving yards. The Mounties are still in the hunt for a Frontier Conference title. They're hosting number 12 Rocky Mountain this Saturday at 12 p.m. for Senior Day, as the team will honor 14 seniors pregame.
The cross-country teams wrapped up their regular season on October 20 at the Warrior Invitational, each finishing 5th place. They will next be at the CCC Championships this Saturday in Issaquah, Washington. Men's basketball had a tough road trip falling in 4 close games in Montana and California. Jordan May, however, had a big game of 37 points at Carroll. The Mountaineers are off for a couple of weeks before heading to Arizona for games at Benedictine Mesa on November 16th and Arizona Christian on November 17th. The wrestling teams opened their seasons over the weekend as the men battled number 3 Montana State Northern and number 4 Providence. The women also wrestled Providence in exhibition matches. Sophomore Marco Rotano was named CCC Wrestler of the Week, earning 2 wins with 1 against a top 20 ranked opponent. The Mounties are home this Saturday night at 6 p.m., wrestling against Big Bend Community College. All right, we're headed out to the Meridell Center's haunted house with Holly and Skylar. We'll see you in a bit. Hey, it's Ian and Yasmin from Around the Mountain, and we're about ready to go into the Meridell Center's haunted house here in LeGrand, Oregon. We're going with Holly Mullins of the volleyball team and Skylar Williams of the football team, both seniors, and see how scared they get. Remember, the theme is Old Frankenstein here.
Get ready to be scared.
Well, yeah, we're here with seniors Holly Mullins and Skylar Williams, and how you guys doing? I'm scared. I'm so scared right now. Why? We just started, literally. Oh my god.
I don't like that.
Okay, so. Stop. Okay, go.
I'm not.
No, I'll protect you.
No, what would you guys? Oh my god. Or death may occur due to his breach.
Is that legal?
Yes. I hate this idea.
Oh, hang on. Oh my god.
It might take a while. Oh my god!
kid in here, so I see you, kid. I knew you're in here already. Why are you not? We're good. We're good. Oh, straight.
Don't do that to me!
They're just pictures.
No, they're not. There's eye
One has
holes.
holes in it, so
Yeah, there's eye holes.
there are holes in all.
I hear something.
Don't leave!
My dude.
Okay, come on.
That's not the right one.
I'm too far from my car. I'm too. Come on. We got
Oh, my tummy hurts. There's people. People.
I hear somebody. Oh my God! I see you. I see you. Stop. I hear you groaning. Stop.
It's behind the door.
No, there's.
Open the door.
Somebody in the middle of the
What is it?
hallway.
Excuse me?
Oh my God! Stop it! Come on. I see there's so much here. How'd you get there so fast?
Okay.
I see you! I see you!
No.
Oh my God! Stop it. There's light. There's some light. Oh my God!
I need a light.
You need lights? Give me a light. Take it.
Yeah, for
Take
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Here. Yep. Yeah.
I'd be mad too if I was stuck back here. Okay, none of that.
For sure.
Okay. Guys, I gotta pee. Yep. Awesome. Okay. Oh no! I know you're real. I know it. I
Okay,
know
what?
you are.
Oh, yeah,
you
that's
have
for
to
real.
be real. So don't jump out at me. He's gonna jump out.
Oh no,
He's
dude.
going
I
to.
hear chains.
Can't touch me though. He can't touch me though.
This is not
That's
real.
awesome.
Is this real?
That's real.
That's impressive.
real.
I am.
Come. Stop. Come on. I can't be alone. Please.
That thing.
I told you it was real.
My hand.
Stop. Oh my God. Stop. Get back up there. Sure. Hello. Are you real? There's no way you're real. Stop leaning and rocking with it.
Oh!
I don't know
No!
what. Okay.
I don't do old people.
I don't think
It's real. It's real.
Just stop leaning with it. Okay, you don't jump.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
Can we run?
No, come on. Where did you come from?
But it's not entirely for naught, because fresh pots have come to me.
Not me. She's fresher than I am. She's in the shower. She smells worse than that. Hey, stop! Stop what you're doing! Stop what you're doing! Okay!
You better watch out! They're gonna eat your soul!
Go ahead, Ian. Ian, don't get too far.
Oh, dude!
Ian,
I cannot see.
Guys.
Oh, shut up.
Stop.
How do we get out of this thing?
I don't know. You don't.
Oh,
Stop, Jasmine.
Can you by chance open this, sir? But sir, I'm open.
You know you both don't get the gate open. Get Look at that. You can literally see the sweat dripping off
Sweaty
you
Betty.
right now.
You both made it through. You're alive. How are you feeling?
My stomach hurts. My heart hurts. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
My head hurts, my throat hurts.
Scared like a girl 99% of the time. Awesome.
So who do you think was more scared between the two?
Definitely Holly. Come on now. Who you guys think?
did you think of the haunted house overall, the Meridell Center haunted house?
There was a lot of things jumping out, which was the scary part. I mean, the props weren't that scary, but when people started coming at me, I wasn't having it.
Yeah.
Was it?
And that's your weekly Newsish Roundup. I'm Will Bowman, and
I'm Wong Kim Ark.
And we are the Thai Guys, bringing you the news every week from the Grand Alive. We'll see you next week. One more big shout out to our sponsors before we go. Please like and share the video and tune into legrandalive.tv for more local content.